This is our 1950s barn slash gymnasium slash, by all technicalities, our world headquarters. We've done a ton of work to it and we got a lot more to do. We recently acquired it from Dirt Perfect, and then we went through everything. We installed some new beams in here. We started doing the lifting process and we started getting this thing in a good stable position, including some reinforcement on the concrete walls outside. And we've made a tremendous amount of progress, and we pretty much have the building at a good stable position that I'm comfortable enough pulling off of that part of it and moving into the next big phase. Eventually that'll be doing relaminations of the beams on the inside so we can get this thing up and where it needs to be for the forever status. But to do that, we have to do a pretty big clean out and start a little bit of demolition of the OSB and the interior wall so we can see what these beams are actually made of down at the base. So let's get started. First thing we gotta do is fix this door, because this door does open, believe it or not, but we got a little issue with the hinges over here primarily. They're not attached to anything anymore. So we need to do something about that. Oh. So there's a ton of stuff in here, and some of it is probably useful to somebody, but I can honestly tell you what my plans are for the next 10 years and what I plan on building. And if I look at that and I say there's no way I can incorporate that in what I plan on doing the next 10 years, it's getting out of here and it's getting burnt. That's what we're gonna do. It's gone. We'll have another actual trash day. Today is burnable day. I did ask around. There's a bunch of old air filters in there. These don't fit anything I have, and the people I asked didn't fit their stuff either. I don't know how else shows up on camera, but there's a ton of brown recluse with the bodies eaten out of them. I don't know what that's all about, but it can't be good. It is a nice cabinet. Yeah, I believe you're right. That is a decent counter. We could use that for something. I don't think we should burn that. We'll save that. I think somebody probably put a lot of time into this. But they're not our stair railings. I'm not going to build much of a railing with 5 of them. So we're kind of starting to get a little organization. We started like 3 o'clock. I had a lot going on today. We've got a little bit of a trash pile started. 2 loads of burnables hauled off, and our keep pile started. Can you grab that door for me? We got a meet in the middle on it. Yep. Push them till they touch, then we push them together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Don't get your thumb in there. Push hard. Perfect. Pull her down hard. Okay. Need a hammer? No, you got it. Okay. The doggos are out. It's the following morning. We just had a couple hours in the afternoon yesterday. I got a little help from the oldest, which was nice. Let's see if we can get this thing fired up this morning. Just go use our little homemade fire starters. Cardboard egg carton. Cheap candles we get from the Goodwill or yard sales, and a little bit of dryer lint goes a long way. Well, we got that tucked down in there. Come back and check on it in just a second. I want to show you what else we got going on and what's coming up on the channel real quick. Just a quick preview. We're going to do this on our second channel, which is just called Kleeman, just to kind of keep things streamlined. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, actually this whole thing kind of ties everything together and helps tell the story of why we got the gym. If you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you know we've got this little pole barn up here, and we kind of have this outdoor shop area. Takes a tremendous amount of BTUs to keep this thing heated. But up until recently, we've been treating this building as just storage. Well, we've got the Fubaru out down at the gym now, and all of this, everything in the back, including that little walkway, it's all getting gutted and ripped out, and all of this stuff is going to go storage down at the gym, including everything up in the rafters. Then we're going to put a little diesel heater in here, a little bit of insulation work, nothing too crazy, and a battery pack. Of course, we've got the welder generator over there that's propane powered. And I've got some solar panels I've ordered sitting over at the house. And we're gonna try to convert this into a small off-grid shop. It's big enough that in the back we can move my welding table back there and then build a bunch of little shelves that just stick out a little bit. Very similar to that, where we can put stuff on, but it's not deep enough it gets buried and lost forever. Try to make me a little place that I can work out of the weather in the wintertime on some smaller projects while we're in the process of building the bigger shop down here at the gym, because that's going to take us some time. I did scoot the four-wheeler back just a little bit. Well, I'd say that's going okay. There's a chance you could burn some of that grass around there, but I'm certainly not against that. We've got a good fire break on the back side of that comes around, and on that side. So if the grass burns, well, that's just fine. So that gym's going to give us a tremendous amount of extra storage, places we can grow into as far as a bigger shop in the future, and some office space for the future as well, and allow us to utilize this in a more effective manner that makes life a lot easier on me. I just love all the light that comes flooding in when you open these things. Let's get to work. Honestly, there wasn't that much more stuff up there that was ready to be burnt until we get the rest of the building material from up there down below. And to do that, we got to get all the burnables out from down below so we can build some storage. So let's shimmy on down. And there is a ton of stuff in here that can be gotten rid of and burnt. There's also some stuff, I mean, this is a decent one by, I think we can use it. Nope, it's been used for soffit. It's got 1,000 cuts on it. It's going. We're really flirting with the line of being a hoarder and not being a hoarder today. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm sure I could find a use for at some point, but I also have to be honest with myself and just know that I'm never getting around to it. You know what I mean? Not a whole lot left of that. We'll throw it together and we can top her off. So we're back up top. The next step, the next thing I want to do is build a rack downstairs. There's a whole bunch of trim on here, which is in good shape, and some plumbing and piping. The trim I definitely want to save. It's common style of trim, white primed. With all the building we have going on, we'll definitely utilize that. And then there's this big old pile of trim back here, which is also stuff we'll probably utilize. Some of it is going to be trash. We'll just kind of have to go through it. But what I want to do is build one of those racks downstairs where we can store all this down below to get this opened up and cleaned out for the next step of the gym process. Got to get some cord stretched down there for the skill saw. At least in here it's mainly out of that wind. That's nice. There's a big pallet under these sheets. I want to utilize that. I don't know what this is, but we're going to save it. Oh my God, it's heavy. Why is it so heavy? Oh, what is this? Big old nice heavy duty pallet. Very nice. Okay, so the idea is to build this rack in a way we don't want to attach anything to the post because we've talked about it a little bit. We're going to do quite a bit of work inside of here. Some of that work is bigger beams across here so we can eliminate some of these posts. We're also going to dig down a little bit so we got more headroom and some concrete work at some point. way down the line. So I don't want to attach anything and make permanent stuff on the post. We're going to try to build some of these racks on skids like this that we can drag around as we need. So I'm going to start with this rack here. There's a whole bunch of this shorter trim, like 4-foot pieces. I think what I'm going to end up doing is making that same type of rack, but on a regular size pallet where we can keep shorter stuff as well. I don't want it all mixed in together because then you just end up losing some of this stuff. But this is, I mean, still good material. I got some longer pieces there. We'll set the shorter stuff aside, get all the longer stuff down, and then maybe build a smaller rack. Okay. I don't really have any intention of saving this rack. Not really a huge fan of the way it's built anyway. I mean, it was pretty well built. So the microphones last about 2 minutes and the batteries died because of the temperatures. Luckily, I have my DJI charging case. No partnership or sponsorship. I just love their products. I got 2 microphones in here. I just have to keep swapping back and forth. I got a couple random pieces of conduit we're going to get cleaned up and a couple random pieces of PEX pipe. But we are definitely getting there. Oh, space. Now I could shoot. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, she's a little flat. It's okay. Okay. People seem to enjoy how terrible I am at basketball, so for your viewing pleasure. Yeah, nice. Hey! A fella can get lucky from time to time. Where it landed is where we're going next. There's a lot of 16-foot pieces of trim back here, and I honestly don't know what all is buried back here. There's quite a few sheets of this underlayment. A lot of it's been cut up. I think we probably, with the tape, I'm guessing we used it for floor protection on something. Covered a finished floor with it to do some work. If it's in decent enough shape, I'll save it. We've got these boxed out posts, vinyl covered. I mean, I guess. Oh, this is the part I hate. I'll save those. And then I've got a bunch of ceiling grid. I will never use that ceiling grid. I have no plan to ever use that ceiling grid. There is some J channel. I'll save that. We'll definitely use that. And that mesh, there's several rolls of that. We'll use that on the YouTube yacht, actually, on the finish on the outside. And there's a whole bunch of concrete fiber. We'll definitely save that because we'll probably use it in the floor down here at some point if we ever do that, or maybe in the wall. How about that ceiling tile grid? This is an old shower pan with some FRP. We'll scrap the pipe, but probably just trash that. I don't ever see myself going that route. But this ceiling grid dilemma, God, this is the worst part. I know I'm never going to use it. I could try to sell it, but is it worth the hassle? It's not that much. So I just hauled another load of scrap wood up to burn, and I figure no point in heading back with an empty truck. We'll go ahead and start grabbing some of this pipe, get a bunch of stuff out of the rafters, and get a truckload of stuff that can go down there on that rack I built. That's a good quality tape measure there. The insulation we're going to leave up here because I'm sure we'll incorporate that in the build somehow. But and as you're looking at this and you're thinking, gosh, this is a mess in here. It is. It is an absolute disaster. Like I said, the whole goal is to get it all cleaned out, everything stored in a decently organized manner down at the gym. And then that's going to give us a tremendous amount of space. Well, not a tremendous amount, but enough space that we can do some smaller work heated in here. And you should definitely expect to start to see some of this content trickled in, because here in a couple of videos, this will be the primary content, getting this thing all set up and ready. I want you to watch right there. Just watch right in there. That never gets old. Kentucky National Guard, Kentucky Air National Guard. They fly by all the time. I love it every time. One last stop before we head back to the gym. I saw these IBC totes sitting down here at Dirt Perfect's lot, and I said, how much you want for them? He said, they're not mine. You can do what you want with them. So honestly, at that point, a fella stopped asking questions. Oh, she's frozen to the ground though. Oh no, wait, that's the one he uses. I need this one. I need this one. Should have parked closer. I think we'll just, oh, okay. Yep, that's one way. And maybe it'll just, you know, maybe it'll just, no, I don't think it's going the way I want it to. Oh, if only he had some kind of loader down here that I could use. Okay. Yep. Quick, jerky motions. That's the safest way. That'll ride? Oh, sure. Sure. No way that'll fall off. Well, I'm as surprised as you are, but here she is. I'm sure we can just, you know, real gentle like. Oh gosh. Yep. Okay. Yep. We're gonna go around and cut the top of the bladder off, but leave these cross members. I guess we'll have to make a few cuts, that's fun. Very nice. Finagle this out of here. Oh yes. Yep. Just, yep, there we go. Yeah, okay. Got it. And then, for all the short trim and short pieces of wood, we'll just put them in here vertically. We got some dividers if we want to divide things. I think that's going to work a lot better than building a whole separate rack for it, and then we can pallet this wherever. Pretty simple storage for that. I need to add another row for this and maybe stiffen it up a little bit. We got some wobbles. We're not really marking anything on these. We're just going by the gauge on the guard and just using our finger as a guide. That's a microphone box. Where's the tape measure? We'll rip this down the middle one more time, and then we can add a cross brace lengthwise. Way better, you know? It's much, that should be fine. So this is all just a bunch of rough cut lumber that we have stored up in the pole barn. Some of it stuff we ordered from Logger Wade, Phil Aitchen's Timber Harvest, for like the goat barn and the chicken coop project we did. So there's some poplar, there's some cypress in here left over from the raised garden beds. And some of it is stuff that we milled up when we borrowed my buddy's sawmill to see if a sawmill made sense for us, which it did not because we're so close to an actual sawmill. But it's stuff that I feel like is worth keeping. And since we've got the space down here under the gymnasium, it is now out of the pole barn, stored down here in good dry conditions. I do know it looks like this rack is a little close to these doors and windows as far as rain blowing in, and that is a possibility. But the good news is I made it to move. So if it's an issue, we'll slide it in one of these other holes. I guess I'll hang on to this ceiling grid. Go ahead and save those couple 6x6 posts. There's a random thing of house wrap, another couple pieces of trim. And then over here, that's somebody's hardwood flooring. It's either Mike's, his brother's, Somebody around here is storing their extra floor in here. I need to make sure I know who that belongs to so we don't get rid of it, because they're probably going to want that at some point in time if they ever need a repair. Then over here we've got a few 1x. I think it's a cedar. It's hard to tell in the light in here. Oh yeah, give her a little whiff there. That's some cedar. So we got some 1x's of some random cedar for some reason. Well, real quick before we get to the next step, we're going to take this real fancy, let me show you the craftsmanship, which I believe was crafted by Bernie Bauer when Mike and I broke a push broom. That's the gentleman we used to work for, probably for me, close to 20 years ago. I think we broke a broom, tried to get out of work. Bernie found a stick, shoved it in there and made it work. You can see the red paint. That's how he used to mark his tools. Anywho, we're just going to do a rough brooming and try to get a bunch of loose, small stuff shoved down to this end. The fella knew what he was doing. I think he's 20 years old and still works. Get my rolling toolbox out of the way, then we can just add on to this trash pile. I was looking at getting a roll-off dumpster at some point. Where we're at, roll-off dumpster can be anywhere from $600 to $800 depending on your dump fees, but your minimum is going to be $300 just to get the dumpster here. And honestly, I think we're going to be around 3 or 4 pickup truck loads. The dump's only about 30 minutes away. I think a fella could do it. It may take me an afternoon, but it'd probably only cost me a couple $100 in dump fees instead of getting a roll-off. We'll just have to see though. We got a long way to go, but progress sure does feel great. I want to put this little rack together real quick because I've got an idea for it. Here's one end. So the idea I've got is to make a nice, large, rolling workbench. It'll kind of help keep me from having to pick stuff up and move it as much if we've got it all tied together. So we're going to see if we can do that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We're just making it up. If I spend my whole life waiting for a definite answer, I'm never going to get anything done. You know, fellas just got to start going sometimes. All right. So the way this works, the way this racking works is this is recessed perfectly for a 2x piece of material. What I'd like to do, I got some more of that treated 2x12 down there left over from when we built that temporary beam. Well, that'll definitely be a good-sized workbench. I got some casters up at the shop. I think we'll work on this pretty well, and then we can just roll this thing around. We got to do some self-tappers into the metal to hold it all together, but I like it. One last thing, I really want to get into, got about an hour left. Go ahead and try to pull some of this OSB down and just see how it's going to come down and what we've got behind it. I do know the AstroTurf was not, I find this hard to believe, here when they originally built it. And I do hate to lose such fine material, and no, somebody's going to say that's black mold that you're looking at. That is the black backing that is still attached to the adhesive on the wall. That's what that is. But anyway, I do hate to lose it. I mean, it's just such a nice touch to the building. But now that bench is original though. Oh, wow. That's definitely rough cut, old hardwood. That's original. And this is a little bit different material, not the OSB. Let's get enough clean that we can do a couple sections of it, huh? Yeah, that's what they said was back there. I'll be dipped. That's what they said was there. Beadboard, original. Wow, it's in pretty rough shape. I bet there's a lot of salvageable though. I bet there's enough we could utilize it somewhere in the office space. Now I'm going to have to pop these benches too for a couple reasons. One, I really need to see how these trusses attach to the floor and the wall itself. And two, we're just going to need that access when we go to rebuild them. Let's get this piece off. We'll try to work these and we'll pop just one section for now. Just enough to take a peek. It's too cool. Pause for distraction. I know, I'm as surprised as you are, we're getting sidetracked. So whenever it comes to doing the laminations on this, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail once we get a few more pieces of that beadboard off. I just kind of want to see what's going on. But we're going to use all these, timber lock structural screws to run into there to hold all that new lamination in place. And I was worried about burning up my impact, so I ordered this the other day. I've been looking for a new solution. It's a 5/16 nut driver, but here's the catch, fellas. It's for an SDS. For the hammer drill. I gotta try it real quick to know if it's gonna work, because if it's not, I gotta keep looking for another answer. It'd just be easier if I tell you now. So what we're gonna do is take a bunch of 1x. This is laminated with a bunch of 1x. It's all oak, it was all locally harvested. In fact, a local fellow who was in his teens, or probably younger, honestly, is the one who built a ton of these trusses and ran them all through an old tractor belt powered planer, which is just wild because it's something that would never happen today. Anyway, that's what they are. They're all 1x oak laminated together. The plan is to make this same thickness lamination with new material out here, except glue lam it as we do it, but run timber locks. They make these pretty long, I think up to 12 inches, through all of it and just tie the old and the new together, all glue lammed. I think it's gonna be a good solution. Let's just see. I don't know. I don't know, with the hammer or without the hammer. With the hammer just seems so obnoxious. Let's try just the drill. Should have more power than impact. I could be wrong about that. Let's try the hammer. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, anywho, it's a fun new thing. We'll play around with it a little bit more. I don't know. I've got some hesitation because of the history of it, but we got to do what we got to do. Is it two? That's two boards. Okay. No, it's one board that's split. wonder if any critters are gonna come running out of here. Should have asked Bill if they put any kind of time capsule on these benches. Might be something. There's a shoe. Oh man. Oh, there's stuff. It's trash. It's a lot of trash. But historic trash. Okay. Oh. Oh, this thing's arched. That's right. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Okay. I don't know enough about shoes to know how old it is, though. And then there's a ton of pop cans down here. Except I'm from southern Indiana, so I don't know why I called it a pop can. Wow. Oh, yeah. And some Miller, too. Look at those. How cool is that, man? Wow. Look at this old Mountain Dew one. That is cool. Gosh, there's a ton under there. I kind of want to pop that next section. So what they've got is that piece of angle. Look at the old square nuts. We got that piece of angle through bolted from the outside into it. And that's bolted to the sill plate, which is going to be attached to that concrete wall down below. It's attached better than I expected, to be completely honest. I didn't expect a steel plate. I know some people are going to be worried about removing this OSB, thinking this is going to be removing some sort of structure that's helping hold this thing together. That's just not the case. This was put into place as a veneer to cover the damaged beadboard. In the orientation that's in, it would never provide any kind of strength as far as holding the structure in a vertical position. If anything at all, it might provide a little bit of shear force, but with the beadboard still remaining on there and mainly all the metal on the outside of the building, shear force isn't too much of a concern at this point. And the nails they used to put it in, I'll show you. There's nothing fancy about them. This is nothing more than a veneer, an ugly one at that. I don't know why they went with this option, but that's all it was. Just a veneer to cover up that beadboard. We definitely have a long way to go, but I think we're making awesome progress, and I think you can see the change and the potential. Every video gets closer and closer to what we want it, and it's just, I don't have the words. Next video, right back on this thing, we're going to get the OSB down to the cable, that first cable on each side, strip that beadboard as well, and do some more cleanup and try to get our end of this operation done. And that'll give Dirt Perfect the next couple months over the winter to get the rest of his stuff out. One more final cleanup from us, and then in the spring or summer, at some point, we can come in and start doing the laminations. I'm pretty excited about it. We got a lot of work ahead of us, but every time we do it, I get re-energized. This is one of those projects that every step reminds me of how awesome this is going to be. I can't thank you guys enough for watching. I truly mean that, and I hope I get to catch y'all on the next one.